Yeah, that was yesterday. It must have been a day early, Paul.
Right.
Who's 274-2741?
Bob, that's Potter Lawson.
Okay, all right.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
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 Okay. All right, I got 9 o'clock, so we'll call the meeting to order. Was the meeting properly noticed?
Yes, it was.
Roll call. I believe everyone is present. The agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded by somebody.
Rude.
Rude. All right. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 That's great. That is approved. Moving on to the minutes from September 25. Hope you've had a chance to go through them. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So move.
Rude.
Second.
Approved, seconded by, I was talking, sorry.
Paul.
Second. Paul? Yep.
Yeah.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
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 Very good. That is approved. We are moving on to our resolution. I believe, I'm going to guess Kyle is present, and I also would assume that Casey is present. So I will first turn it over to Casey.
Yep. I don't. Kyle is on, but we have the resolution before you. That was what you guys had requested at the last meeting. Is moving forward with schematic design of phases 2, 3, and 4, and then we also we have in there for land acquisition. Obviously, the price isn't going to be included with this because that'll be a negotiated item that will come up once the site is finally selected. But we did put. I had talked with Ron a little bit prior. I think Ron and I had agreed to about 20 to 30,000. I ended up putting 40,000 in. So our total request, I believe, is 240,000 to be set aside. Obviously, the money's only going to be spent if we so need it on the soil testing. But I wanted to make sure there was enough in there that if there was any question, we would be able to do as extensive soil testing as possible. Obviously, site survey, things like that. But we don't want to get into an issue like we had with this project and running into the rock and things like that. So we want to make sure that there's enough soil borings done on any site that might be selected that we don't have unanticipated costs.
Any
The
questions?
the funding would come out of excess sales tax revenue that we currently have in reserves, so it'll have no impact on current revenues. And obviously, this isn't committing the board to doing the full project. It's getting more accurate cost reflection of what is being proposed and what is needed.
Okay,
Bob, this is Pete. I move to approve that resolution.
This is Larry. I'll second that.
okay, there was a faint deal, but I think it was probably Pete. Move to pass a resolution and move it on. Larry seconded it. Any discussion on it?
Just one point of clarification, if you guys do pass this and the board passes this, Kyle did amend the budget that'll be considered for 2021. This is in there, but the budget resolution doesn't reflect that because that wasn't passed through admin finance that way. So we'll request that you guys make an amendment on the floor to the budget resolution to incorporate the utilization of this fund balance and this expenditure.
Okay. Everybody good with that? Understand it? Sounds
Yep.
good.
Fine.
All right. I don't see any other discussion, so we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
I believe it's unanimous. The motion passes to move the resolution on. Please stop by the clerk's office and sign that. I had to be in town yesterday, so I have already signed it. So we're good there.
Yeah, Chair, I'll have to sign it on Monday morning because I'm going in for a knee operation on Tuesday, so I'll make sure I'm in there.
All right, Paul. And I guess we don't have to have 100% signatures, but if you can get it done, certainly we'd all appreciate it.
Right, I'll make sure I got time.
All right. All right. Casey, project status.
Yep, Lyanna, could you pull up the pictures that we have in there?
1 second.
And then while she's doing that, I don't know, Andy, do you want to talk about where we're at in the project timeline?
Yeah, so we, like we were talking about in the progress meeting, steel is really going to be starting hot and heavy later in November. They're based on the unforeseen conditions that we found on the exterior on the east side where the addition is going. We had to adjust a lot of the footings, foundations to make this work. So the order for steel got pushed back a little bit, which isn't uncommon based on what the lack of information that we had, and we put it together. So steel will be really starting next month. The interior, they've been doing a lot of framework, getting their steel studs up, and they're going to start drywalling and getting that stuff moving. We've had a lot of coordination with our MEP consultant and contractors on site regarding the most efficient way to do some of these reroutes based on HVAC, plumbing, electrical, etc. And Bill has been a really big help with that, as he knows the guts of the building quite well. So we've been kind of working with him in tandem, getting these efficient lines ran. We're currently working on getting some flooring updating as we're getting some uneven floors throughout the building, such as the bathrooms, etc. But it's nothing that we haven't seen before. That's going really fluid. I think we're on the right track here. We hit a few snafus early on in the project, and a lot of it, with teamwork and coordination, we were able to push this stuff through. So right now, I feel we're in a good spot. I feel we are going to be getting into winter conditions, and that's going to be a discussion when we get closer to it, as now we're seeing, temperatures dropping below 30 overnight, and we're hardly getting a 30 in the morning. So we will see that come through. It's just a matter of how we're going to mitigate a lot of it and run through with it. Obviously, winter conditions it's a little more complicated to get through, especially with steel erection. but for the most part, I feel we'll do a good job. I know RJ in the field has been doing really well, and we've been coordinating on a daily basis still. So a lot of things are going well for us at this point, based on the prior meeting or the meeting prior to that. Even I think things have really leveled off, and we're starting to push through this. I also know that one of the big items that we had out there is the gas line rerouting. We're actually planning on maintaining that gas line and not rerouting a whole new one through the attic. We're able to keep the one that we have. We're going to adjust it up above our new addition, and so that's going to be a big save on us, and that's with schedule as well. I think interior, they've been pushing through the demo. They have the majority of it done. Now we're putting everything back together, and things are going smoothly from my end.
Thank you.
All right. I have a question to
Break it up.
whoever was talking. I went by yesterday, looked at that solo wall standing out there that's virtually unbraced other than some makeshift deals. To say that made me nervous would be an understatement. So how long before that gets secured somehow? You're secured to the
Picture
or to the
21.
side wall, but that's it. I'm curious. What's that? Was you able to hear me?
You're breaking out.
So Bob's question was that wall in Leanne, it's picture 21 there is what he's referring to. Yeah, that one. So the question was how long until that wall is stable? It doesn't look like it's very secure.
That I will be out on. So after this meeting, I'm up in Adams right now. So after this meeting, I'm going over to site, and I'll discuss with RJ on site and get a confirmation on that. That should definitely be secured sooner than later here. So I'll make that a point of concern when I get out there.
Thank you, Casey.
Sorry, it keeps thinking I can't get it to come up any bigger.
It's not open on our end yet.
Yeah, it just keeps thinking.
Okay, I'll just kind of talk through these.
They are on the agenda for whoever wants to see them, but yeah, on my screen it just keeps thinking.
So yeah, if it opens up, just go ahead and close it. We'll just talk through the thumbnails that are there, and you guys can go back and look at the images in the folder if you want. Yeah, you should be able to just do that. So close out. There we go. So yesterday, Tabitha and I went and walked through the project site. One comment I made to Artie, they're in the middle of demolition, and they've started some of the reconstruction. As you can tell, the site is immaculate. They've done an excellent job of keeping the site clean. So give them compliments. We had our construction meeting this morning already. So I did bring that up to them. But so I'll start with image 14 there. That's the front of the courthouse. That's where the steps were removed from. So you'll see the three or the four pillars that are there. Ultimately, that's where the Veterans Memorial will butt up against that, and we're going to be working with them. There's a concrete cap there. The intent is that cap will then come over the top of the memorial, and we won't have to fill in the spaces in between. It'll be capped off, so we won't have any issues with that. The footings actually come out straight from each one of those pillars. There's a footing that comes out probably 10, 12 feet. Is that about right, Bill? About 10 to 12 feet long?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. They're probably a little longer than that, but they're very solid footings. So
yeah, they go down about 4 feet, and it looked like there was a footing underneath those as well. So we kind of talked a little bit. What we did was we decided to leave those, and ultimately they'll serve as a good base for the memorial, and they're going to incorporate that instead of having to worry about footings. They won't have to deal with that anymore. So Bill did a great job. It looks beautiful out there. Got all the brush cleared out, and Bill got some seed and hay down and some netting to try getting some grass growing before they come back, so we don't have a huge mess in the spring. Scott?
So our cost out front is all done, right? We shouldn't have to incur any more costs.
They are going to come back. One thing we discussed with them was the sidewalk. They weren't anticipating doing an ADA sidewalk all the way back. That was one cost. If being in cost sharing with them, and once they work up an estimate to bring it back to the committee, and it might be something that we can put under the contingency for the project. So I would anticipate a request coming to have us help participate in that, but I don't see that being anything significant. But as far as demolition, the costs are done. They'll be bearing the costs of the memorial and the pad and things like that. But there'll be some further discussion if the county's interested in participating in that sidewalk for ADA purposes. So there potentially could be some, but right now it seems pretty minimal what our exposure would be on that if we decided to participate. Any other questions on the front side of the building there?
Well, the only thing I like to bring up is we could probably be part of maintenance too. If once it's established and we see there's a problem, it could probably be part of maintenance. We don't really have to, put it in our regular building budget.
Oh, the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Potentially. And that's very possible. We do anticipate having leftover from the contingency. We're, like Andy kind of referenced, we've got through the really ugly parts so far. So we're hopeful that there won't be many more change orders.
Right. That was my only concern, because when change orders do come up, we need that contingency for that. And
absolutely. All right. Image 15. This is the old law library, and that area will be repurposed for the courts area. And then there was a wall that was moved. So that's just kind of where it's at this point. Let's see. Image 16 is that'll be the community services area on the first floor. And 17 and 18 are pictures of where the new courts administration area will be. Image 19 and 20, I believe, are child support areas. That's the hallway looking from maintenance, looking down the hallway. On image 19, image 20 is the child support. I believe that's the old break room. Image 21 is the wall that Supervisor Gabarski was referencing. As you can see in image 20 and 21 and 22, the footings are laid out. And in image 23, all the footings are laid out and progressing. Like Andy said, we should start seeing steel go up there in the next, within the next month or so. That should start. So progressing very well right now. Like you said, the footings were challenged. We talked about that at the last meeting. We did get those addressed. Going forward, yesterday we finalized the location for the electrical box for the security screening equipment, so that I'm guessing they're probably going to get poured in the next week or so. Is that right, Andy?
That sounds correct, yes.
So with the weather, they're trying to get that in. So we should see some concrete slabs going down in the next couple weeks. And like I said, they'll have the electrical laid out. So overall, it's coming together very well. And like I said, I'm extremely impressed at how neat and tidy they're keeping the work area, because obviously there's occasional cross flow with our staff, and we still have the courtrooms and things like that are up there. So they're doing a good job of maintaining it, keeping it clean up there. So that'll make maintenance's job and everybody's lives easier once we get to the end and we don't have to go back through the old courtroom and sanitize and clean everything multiple times to get it back to where it should be. So any questions for me?
Casey,
Other than, this is Paul. I want to compliment the contractor, because looking at these pictures, they were keeping up with cleaning up, and that's the hard part in new, construction like this, especially when you're going in and have to tear stuff out. I was just wondering, how about the dust factor? Are we kind of keeping that down so it doesn't go throughout the rest of the building?
This is Casey. I have not gotten any complaints about dust. I did get a lot of complaints about noise, obviously, when we were taking the steps off and then rerouting some of the water and gas lines. That part was unpleasant for a lot of the sheriff's department staff and dispatch. They were good. They worked through it, understanding that it was kind of a one-time nuisance they had to deal with. But as far as dust, I've got 0 complaints. Bill, have you gotten any complaints in regards to dust?
They've been pretty good at working with me on making sure that they get filters over all the return grates and all of the ductwork that is in place that has been under demolition. So we are getting the filters changed regularly, that we are covering the grates with the return grates to minimize dust in the building. And it's been real good so far.
Sounds good to me. Thank you very much. Noise is always a problem, but you can't get away from that.
Yep.
Casey, this is Bob. Just thought I'd reiterate what you mentioned about the neatness of the project. Certainly, as I went by yesterday, I was very impressed with that, and everything looks good, other than the one thing that I was concerned about. But, yep, credit to all individuals involved. Okay, moving on. We have, I gotta look. I lost my agenda here. Maybe. Okay. Any other questions about the project as it stands right now? I see none. Casey, Andy, anyone else want to interject anything right now?
No, sir.
No,
Right.
not unless there's any other questions.
I don't see any, Casey. One last time, anything come to mind? Any questions? Okay. Well, as things progress and any other items come up for the agenda before another meeting, certainly let Lyanna know. Myself, Casey, will make sure it gets addressed. So, and move us on to the next meeting date. We got anything lined up, or you want to wait? Come on.
You guys want to look me towards the end of November again, and hopefully we'll have some, we'll go through the project site again and try getting some pictures of the steel going up, things like that for you.
Sounds good. We're looking at the 27th?
County's closed.
I doubt it. 27th, you got Thanksgiving on the 26th. I don't.
Right.
So we either probably move it into the first week in December, I would suggest.
Sounds good to me. Talking about the 4th then?
Yeah. Anybody else want to weigh in?
December's good.
That's good with me.
All right, we'll set it on the 4th, 9 o'clock. And with that, I guess this meeting stands adjourned. Thank you all for participating.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Everybody.